Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Mike from Big Bake Posse, Russell. Thanks for stopping by. You're already in the channel here. It's Wednesday Night Live. We got a smallmouth tournament going on, and we've already got a limit turned in. I'll give it a few minutes for everybody to get in here before we start going down that road. But thanks for everybody stopping by. It is the first week of that smallmouth tournament. And I'll just be honest with you. There's not a lot of fish turned in. It's only been a few days. So, but we got a few. Hey, Bass Hunter, Brian Green, congratulations on winning the 5 bass draw. Brian was our winner. And oh, by the way, I just got to say this. Russell, I don't know you'll find some smallies before long. Brian won the tournament by a 1/4 inch. It was very close. The champion last year, Patrick Williams from Paul Mann's Fishing, last minute he turned in some horses, man. It was a close race. But congratulations to you, Brian, and Patrick for second place. And Lauren, I think Lauren Martin won third place. Hey, Spaceman, what's up? Real close race. But I got to tell you guys, I've got to consider might have to change the format for next year. Maybe not. We only had 7 folks turn in 5 total bass on that tournament out of 861. Now let me just say this: only 109 turned in 3 to get to the second round, and of those 109, only 7 folks hit the 5 bass limit. So it might have been a little too tough. I got to think about that. But it was very competitive. I'll tell you, it was competitive. That was for sure. Hey, Gary, thanks for stopping in, buddy. Hey, John, thanks for stopping in. Yeah, Brian, those extra inches making a difference. And I will tell you, in the team tournament, hey, and I encourage Linda. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Linda from Small Water Charters. I've got a pretty strong format for the team tournament, and I've already got quite a few people signed up for the team tournament. It's going to be that's going to be a tough one as well, with 7 bass to turn in. Yeah, I know, John, the heat got you down there in Florida. It's all about timing, right? Spaceman says, I think the format is fine. It didn't have much time to get in the second half. Hey, that's the way it goes. But I do think a few people overshot. And, there's overshooting and getting lucky, right? And maybe you can say you got lucky or not or whatever, but it is you got to think through that tournament. And I think the same thing is going to be held true for the next tournament, not including the smallwater. The smallmouth tournament is the 3 biggest smallmouth, but that team tournament is going to be a tough one as well. So Big Bait saying, hey, Team Ladybug, thanks for stopping by. Big Bait Posse saying, hey, I like that format. So we're going to keep the format. I was thinking maybe we have to adjust it, but maybe not. Yeah, Brian, you did. I will be honest. You said you go big or go home, and you rolled the dice and you came out on top, and it worked out. And Mike, I agree. From Big Bait Posse, it does even the playing field. John says, I went home. And I get it. I mean, it's fishing, right? We only have so much time in our life to get out there and fish. Some of us have more time than others, but the fish got to cooperate as well. They got to do their part as well, right? And jump on the hook. So if anybody's interested in jumping up, there's a link to jump into the chat. We will have that form. We will have a 5 bass draw next year, and I've been thinking about maybe how to expand. We'll see how the team tournament does. It seems like I'm starting to get a lot of interest in that team tournament. I'm sure John and Lindia will jump in on that team tournament. That's the super team, I would think, but the format may be a factor. So we'll see how it goes. I want to throw out a couple notes. On Saturday night, there was an auction for Al at Al Outdoors and his family. We're having some tough times. A lot of you folks jumped in, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. Maybe Ted will jump in here in a minute, but they raised a lot of money for Al and his family. That was an awesome event from a bunch of YouTubers. And if you were in part of that, thanks. It was pretty great. John says, we went out the other day. Yeah, John, I get you. It always happens the day after, right? That's the way it goes. It happens. It happens every time. It's like the day after the big tournament, you go out and you get that big one. It goes back to that old saying, it's fishing, right? So John saying it almost got 12K total for Al and his family. That's just phenomenal. I got fortunate. I got a great hunt for a great price on that auction. I'm pretty pumped about that. Yeah, Russell says the same thing. Your big bass came after the tournament, of course, right? That just goes to show, you know, you can be the greatest angler, but if it's all about timing and when you get a chance to get out there and fish, for sure, right? It's just part of the game, right? And, you know, John at Smallwater Charles gets an opportunity to fish close to one of the legends that we know, Roland Martin. And he's put the video out there. Roland has called him about, hey, how's the fishing over on Donkey Land, right? That's the way it goes. Even the legends have trouble catching them sometimes. Smallwater saying you caught your big one on a bruiser, and Russell saying, yep, I caught it on a bruiser bait. That's awesome. That is awesome. I want to get a few more folks in. We got 7. I know it's just not a lot of folks in this tournament for the smallmouth, but give it a couple more minutes. See if we can get a few more folks before this. We do have our first limit, but it's only 1. John says, Roland is our buddy. We hadn't caught any that morning. He had 9 by. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, Brian, I get it, right? You got to stay out there and pound them. Time is critical when you're fishing. Even when you think about our tournament, which is over 6 weeks, you know, you think about these major league fishermen that go out there and they fish in a 3-day format or a 4-day or 5-day format. They got to compress that time, and every cast counts. But even in the way we fish these formats, like the 5-bass draw, time is critical, right? You only have so much time, because even in a 6-week tournament, you got life to live, right? These professional fishermen, they just cut off life for 3 or 5 days, however many days it takes. But we got life to live in that 6-week period that we got to put in there to figure out how to catch those fish. And I say we, I'm not competing, you guys. So Donkey Land, it's full pool. Oh, hold on. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I was watching your video today, John, where you and Lindy were fishing after the tournament on Donkey Land. It looked, I mean, the weeds were heavy compared to when I was there in November, which makes a difference. You know, everyone has their challenges, but when it's thick like that, it's hard for sure. Yeah, I expect you and John, I expect you and Lindy to be strong. If you guys decide to be a team for the team tournament, no pressure. I think you guys have a strong chance of being competitive for sure. Here's a fact. Yeah, John, I failed to find a place in the lake when I fished you guys where I usually fish with a 7-foot rod, and I had no worries about putting my rod in the water and getting my reel wet. Doing the Florida depth finder in that lake. What, John? You were going to ask Lindy to be your teammate? Now, I don't know if that's cheating or not, but I'd almost think those were fighting words. There you go, John. That's his ringer. That's awesome, guys. That's awesome. All right, let me throw this spreadsheet up real quick. I know there's an important event going on politically in our lives right now. There's a presidential debate going on tonight. A lot of folks probably watching that. So let me present the spreadsheet. It's a little, I was considering not throwing this up initially, but it's pretty wide open for this tournament. We got Mike from Reese Life Dad Life. He's thrown in 3 fish. And by the way, you can cull in this tournament. You can change out your fish. But him and his son went out and they got 29.5, or he got 29.5 of fish. And D&D Outdoors, Levi Colley, turned in 1 at 12.5. So got a few fish on the board, but it's wide open for this smallmouth tournament. No worries about anybody being blown out in the first few days or so. But by the way, I gotta tell you this: if you're not following Mike at Reese Life Dad Life, he gets his kids out there. It's entertaining for sure, and he does a lot of great events there in Indiana. One of my favorite is him and his son were wading in the creek in Indiana, and he's pulling his daughter in a kayak behind him. So he gets the whole family out to get out fishing. So if you're not following those guys, give them a follow, give them a hook set for sure. Just looking here at the comments. I-95 South. Well, we are on I-95 on the south side. Looks like you guys are trying to arrange something down in Florida. All right. Well, we got about 11 folks in here. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Spaceman, I'm hoping to see some smallies from you. You turned in some good ones earlier in the year. There you go, Brian. Get down there and get some hogs. I will tell you, watching some of the videos that John put out last year on the hog hunts, pretty entertaining. I'll just say that, without a doubt. Hey, Nathan, thanks for stopping in, buddy. We'll throw up the spreadsheet. I know you're in the smallmouth tournament. We just finished looking at it, but we'll throw it up one more time. Nathan is a local angler here. Actually, he's been fishing with me. We got to get out there again, Nathan, soon. Maybe right after this tournament. I know you want to probably catch some smallies. I'm looking at Spaceman. That's right. You got the salmon run right now there, Spaceman. I get it. I will tell you, salmon ruined me for several years. I lived in Alaska for 5 years, and I got hooked on salmon fishing. And it's tough to get back to bass fishing when you're catching 30 and 45, 40 and 50 pound king salmon every other cast. So, Mike, I have no doubt that I'll be seeing a big limit from you. I was watching your latest video, and I know you're down in the James. There's a bunch of you fishing, but I know you got them dialed in. So, oh, Spaceman, you're killing the pinks. Yeah, they are fun. I know Gary from Gary's Fish Tales is on here. Several years back when I lived up in Alaska, Gary came up and visited me, and I don't know how many pinks we caught. I mean, I think we caught in one afternoon, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 60 or 70 pinks. It was to the point where we're just sick of catching them. It's fun though. It is absolutely fun. Russell's asking, what river are you fishing? And I'm sure he's talking to Mike and Big Bake Posse. He was on the James in the last video. Nola Chucky. Mike, and you're, correct me if I'm wrong, you're in that northwest corner of Tennessee, if I remember correctly. Well, Brian, you better hurry up and get down to the Susky if you're going to. You're not in this tournament. The other bass hunter, which fishes with Mike, is in this tournament. I'm sorry, Brian, Mike, northeast corner, not northwest corner, northeast corner. I got you. Spaceman says the river opens on the way. It's literally a fish in a barrel when pinks come up. I mean, it is. It's unbelievable how many pinks you can catch. And if you know how to, I didn't understand this until I lived in Alaska. But if you catch a bunch of pinks and you know how to can pinks, oh man, they are delicious. Getting some pinks and canning them, they last forever, and it is great. It's great eating. Yeah, Mike, sorry, Northeast Tennessee. So, I would love to get down there and do a float with you. Honestly, though, I'm not that comfortable in the kayak. Only fished in one once. But as one of our other good YouTube fishermen I found, Joe at Parabellum Fishing, he wasn't so comfortable in the kayak, but he's getting used to it. So, Small Water Trotter says there's a world not ready for two bass hunters. Well, sorry, there are two, one in Virginia and one in Tennessee. Brian, I'll give you the title for now because you have won the 5 bass draw. But I know the other bass hunters in the smallmouth tournament, and it may be a fish off. All right, yeah, good point. If you smoke pinks, it's good for eating too. Hey, let me throw up that spreadsheet one more time. I know Nathan is on here and he signed up for the 5 bass draw. I want to make sure he gets a look at that. Not a lot there to report, Nathan, but thanks for stopping in. And I'm serious about we need to get back on the boat, Nathan, when you get a chance. And honestly, when I get a chance, I've been traveling so much lately. So let me get that spreadsheet back up. And there we go. It is wide open, my friend. Mike at Reese Life Dad Life has got 29.5 turned in with 3 fish. You can see those are pretty small. Levi Collie at D&D Outdoors has got 1 turned in at 12.5. And I might have got an email here since we came on. Let me just see. No, don't have any other fish right now turned in. So that's where we're at. And let me just say this for the folks that are, and I know John and Lindy, I know you're in on the team tournament. But if anybody else is interested in the team tournament, I looked at the video that I put out and I've got it out there pushing right now. But if you have any questions about the format, let me know. I looked at it. Matter of fact, I talked to Gary from Gary's Fish Tales. You know, he's one of my best friends. And he's like, yeah, scratching his head. He's like, yeah, there might be some questions about it. It's pretty simple in my mind. You get to catch 7 bass. That's 7. The biggest is going to compete for the big bass pot. The smallest is going to get kicked out. 5 bass in the middle is what we count. They all have to have at least 1 inch of separation. 1 inch of separation. So if you think about, you got to think strategically. If the smallest bass that can get thrown out, does it matter how big it is? Just think about that. I'll just leave it at that. But your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth fish have to have a minimum of 1 inch of separation. And then your largest bass will compete for a separate pot of $100 for that. Good chance you could win the big bass pot and the total length pot in that length in that tournament. But and again, you can be in the same boat, like John and Lindy will fish in the same boat, but you can be in Tennessee, Virginia, you can be in Washington, New York, wherever. You and your partner need to collaborate on what the fish you need to turn in. I will tell you, my sponsors at Omnia Fishing scratched their head and said, "That's interesting but exciting," is what they told me. No, you're right, Gary. Good point. Gary brings up a good point. You do not have to turn them in numerical order. All you have to do within the first 15 days of the tournament is turn in your smallest fish. You have to turn in your smallest fish. I need to turn off. Where did Gary go? Within the first 15 days of the tournament, it's a 6-week tournament, you have to turn in your smallest fish. You can call, but at the end of the tournament, on the last day, I'm going to snap the chalk line, and your largest bass will be called out, right? Whatever it is, 22, 22 and a half. Smallest bass will be kicked out, but the 1s, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 have to be a minimum of 1 inch apart. They can be further than that, but at least a minimum. Hey, Ted. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you jumping in here. I didn't catch everybody. If you didn't catch Ted's video, I was out with the wife tonight for dinner. Wednesday night, our dinner night. I didn't catch the traveling tackle bag part 2. I will watch it right after this. But for folks that are interested in what Ted did with the traveling tackle bag after sending to him, please go back to his channel, Off the Hook Outdoors, and take a look at that. I'm excited to see it. Oh, John, is that what it is? John saying, Ted, you're not airing because we wouldn't team up with you. I think Ted's going to be deer hunting. I'm just going to go with that. Yeah, there you go. Ted's going after the big bucks. And I get a lot of people going to be out there hunting this time of year, that time of year. Hey, Mike, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. And I hope you get out there and get some big ones. I'm sure I'll see some fish from you soon. Just want to make sure I get all the comments here. Yep. Well, folks, I'll tell you what, we got 10 folks in here. I've jumped the spreadsheet twice. If you haven't caught the spreadsheet and you just jumped in, I'm going to cut this short. I know there's a debate going on tonight. Probably most of us kind of take a peek at. And we will have another live next Wednesday night. I think I'll throw a video out. I got an interesting video where I've got tease it out, cranking up every fish in the lake. In the next few days, you get a chance to take a peek at that. But if all you folks that are into the smallmouth tournament, good luck. And hope you catch some big ones. And we will catch you next Wednesday night. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Have a good night. Hey, thanks, Ted. I appreciate you. Good night, everybody.